Right, Jack. Other than working
Yeah.
for ESL,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever sold your soul to the devil, mate?
I'm a God-fearing Christian man. I could think of nothing worse. Let the Lord protect me.
Okay, well, that aside, because that's its own issue. Thoughts on gambling, mate?
It's one of the vices. I don't indulge myself, but I have in the past, and it's pretty fun, you know.
It's bloody awesome for esports too, and
It is. We wouldn't exist without it, really. So
no, we wouldn't. And NartOutHere also seems to be at risk of fading out of existence, if not for gambling, because he's posting. I don't even know what is Rainbet the partnership here. He's posted a video of Aiden Ross winning $1 million. He's powered by Rainbet.com now, and it's.
the
It's not
Rainbet
even-
they sponsor an IP, but they're also just like a huge like casino site.
Right, so they'll have a team next year.
But I don't know why the StakeAndKick.com owner was also betting on a different site. There's two gambling sites referenced in this same. Maybe he was streaming on Kick. I don't know.
Well, maybe
It's not really
Rainbet are
named,
just trying
is
to
it?
Rainbet are trying to get one over.
Yeah, perhaps.
Like,
So.
oh, look at these dickheads. They use our site.
It's just CS:GO Lotto, not CS:GO Lotto. Fucking the T Martin one. You know, it's that all over again.
That was CS:GO Lotto.
Was it? It was. I got
It
Cruiser
was, yeah.
Lounge. Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought this was mental. It's not even mildly Nage related, and it's made him look like a right dickhead. I'm also pretty sure, isn't the partnered tweet meant to go in the original?
As Captain Comes has just
tweet?
pointed out, and I was also going to mention, yes, you need to include it in the copy of the actual original post, otherwise it doesn't count.
Just as a shout
as
out,
a rule.
big fan of Captain Comes. I've known him for a very long time. He's actually a great guy, and he owns cows. He used
Cows
to
are
be
great.
really good Snapchat stories of him just like chilling with his cows. But
Leave his mother out of it.
yeah, with that, roll the intro, I guess. So, Jack, I have a question for you, and it's a very important question. How many countries is too many countries? Now, think about this, because this could be politically charged.
Is it politically charged? 'Cause that will affect my answer.
It could be. I'll let you decide.
On a Counter-Strike team, I mean, I think the issue is not countries, it's continents, right? Because there's quite a lot of teams that have 5 different nationalities. There's not a lot of teams that have 5 different continents, I don't believe.
No, there's not. But Passion UA now will, because they have benched Hulzerk, and then everyone presumed they were benching Nyx, but it seems like Grim will be out the door, which we'll get to in a minute. And they've signed Senzu on loan, and also signed Try, and then seem to make some weird lie about outbidding NAVI.
Yeah.
for Senzu, which feels like a lie, and someone who works for Navi said it was a lie. But anyway, I mean, I've got some thoughts, but I'm curious on your thoughts.
With all due respect to the players on the team, I've really struggled to care about any sort of. Since Complexity, I've struggled to care about this roster, this core. I really have just not given a fuck.
Is that because you hate the Passion UA brand?
It's horribly ugly, yeah. But naming your team after a country is fine. But you should probably have, a region-specific team in that regard, right? It seems a little bit silly for Passion UA to have not a single one Ukrainian player, and then everyone else from a different continent. They're a bit, and it's just not. Try's good, but this is just a doomed team. Hopefully, it means JT can go in IGL something real at some point. But he's like getting on, right? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't
I don't think he is. Charlie, just while I explain my thoughts, can you have a look how old JT is, please? I want to say he's like 25, maybe.
It might be. 26.
26. Okay.
Kind of what I had in mind.
So here's my thoughts, right? Now, when Quack was on the show, he spoke about Try's buyout being ridiculously large, which to me, like, unless his contract was coming to an end, means there's a pretty significant outlay for Try, and therefore likely going to be a big buyout on Try, which on the basis of what we've just said about hoping it means JT might get to move on, then you can also figure out what I'm saying about Try and the fact that I'd like him to move on already, but it might be unlikely. I mean, Try, obviously a great pickup. Hulzerk has really gone downhill, and Try's actually quite impressive and definitely deserved a better team than Imperial, which I do think this will be, but he also probably deserved a better team than this. And when Brokey and Ultimate are stinking up the gaff on the daily, I'm not really sure why he's not on FaZe or Liquid. But then...
Liquid have never been shy of a South American player either, right? Like that's
well,
not
exactly
like, crazy for them to do.
And apparently the 3 top 10 teams tried to buy out Try. But, you know, looking at the top 10, I can't really tell who those would be. So, again, feels like it might be a lie. Senzu? Right, I don't doubt Try will succeed on this team, by the way, because I do think he's really good. Senzu, though? Now...
Well, he's not AWPing. So
he's not AWPing.
God's grace, you know, has helped us here. But...
Again, that's a problem for another day.
I don't... Does he fit in this team really? Like it's just like such a like a year ago, if I said to you, a Mongolian, a Uruguayan, and a South African walk into a bar, you wouldn't think it was the same thing. You wouldn't think it was a CS after party, would you? But it actually could be. Like this is actually, it's just bizarre. It's
Mate,
bizarre.
they sent the CS after party. It's a CS team meeting.
That's why it's really bad.
Yeah. And the thing is, I always had my doubts, like anyway, about Senzu on an international team. I think it would have to be a very good team for it to work. And listen.
I'm listening.
Listen. Right. Well, yeah, I know it's a loan, but there's like a buy option involved, producer Charlie. I mean, let's talk about the other thing before we go back to the listen, right? So Grim is apparently close to joining NRG.
I like
which
NRG.
is a
I
fucking
like
great move for NRG. They're supposedly getting rid of George for him, which means their lineup would be, and this is off the top of my head because I'm not watching NRG as much as other people might be because NACS can die in a hole. Nitro, OC, Grim, Sonic and Bro, and I was staring at you the whole time, so I don't know what... I am right! Come on! Yeah, right. Okay, Grim being on this team, George just hasn't worked out. Like, he looked really good a while ago, but he hasn't worked out. They're at a peak in their ranking at the moment. Or they were, maybe it's changed, I don't know. But they've had a good start to the year, and this is the type of... It's the type of ambition that I'm liking out of them at this point.
I can't believe Sonic is still here, and more so, I can't believe that he's actually pretty good. For as long as he's been around, I've never really considered him to be like a good player. Like he was AWPing for a bit, right? Like he's kind of just been around in like these basically JT teams, right? Like just sort of float around in that sort of like tier 2 NA sort of space. Then he retired for a bit. Then he came back and was good. Like he's actually I know at Krakow he played like really good, and I'm just OC played out of his mind at Krakow. Okay, OC was really really good, but obviously he just fits. But you do have technically 3 AWPers on this team, which I think is quite fun. I
feel like Nitro never up that much, but anyway, I feel like Sonic is pushing 30 and is at the peak of his career. I'm not sure if that's true. He's 27. Okay, he's a little younger than I thought, but like, yeah, he's pretty good. Like he's
around,
actually
and he's unking it up. He's doing good.
yeah. I don't know. I don't think Grim is a needle mover for NRG, but he's certainly better than
I
George.
think he definitely is.
No, but like, what is moving the needle for NRG? Because like, do you go off? Do you go off what? Like ambition, or do you go off reality? Right? Because their ambition is obviously to be better, or their ambition should be to be better than they were in Krakow. But Krakow was a great result for them just by even making it to stage 2. Does Grim make it so they do that more often than not? I mean, maybe.
Probably.
Does it get them through?
I think Grim's really good.
Does it get them through a Swiss stage with decent enough teams? Probably not. And that's the thing. Like, I think for any team, really, you're not talking about moving the needle until you're making it through like a Fisher Playground or an average PGL tournament Swiss stage. Because that's an 8-team playoff. Like, you kind of want to be in one of them if you're attending those events. But to go back to...
I can see them having like an M80 run, like M80 had at London, right? Like just like
fine, but fluke.
Kind of, but I think in terms of like floor, this team probably will have a higher floor.
Oh, the floor is much higher, yeah, and the ceiling will be higher as well. Like, it's a good move. I'm just saying, like, I still don't think it's enough to be excited by NRG.
I just quite like them at Krakow. To be honest, like it's the first time I've watched them. It's probably since the major, and I was like, oh, actually, they were good. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a good coach and a pretty good IGL. Like, you know, it's beneficial. But yeah, to go back to Passion UA, I'm very intrigued by this team, and I'm excited to watch it, but I'm not excited about the team because
it's just
like,
a bit
as
car
I said,
crash, isn't it? Like you want to watch.
I don't think.
But
I don't think Senzu will work, and also like I just would be more excited about it with Grim, like Nyx, bless him. He's just not good enough, and Kvem as well. He's also just pretty shit. Like I get he's the token UA of Passion UA, but you know, you could have a better Ukrainian player. Probably.
You know, like their logo's awful, right? We know this, right? They also just have a red version of the logo.
Yeah, they do. Not sure why.
Not sure which is the official. Not sure which. Like I know maybe it was at the major. They just had like red jerseys. Good for them.
Yeah,
bizarre team.
Look, I hope it works out because I want JT to, you know, do well and like it'd be good for Try to do well so he can move to a real team, and same with JT. But let's hope they don't move to Virtus.Pro because Virtus.Pro have gone even further down the shitter. After transfer listing Perfecto the other week when he benched himself, they've now transfer listed Flit and Fame, and I honestly I just don't know what's next for VP, and I don't really know what's next for Flit and Fame. I mean, me and King T spoke about this 2 weeks ago, and it's like there's actually nothing clear for Flit and Flame, for Flit and Fame, not Flame. Anyway, like, you're not taking them if you're Paravision.
Flint and Steel. Sorry.
Because why would you?
Get Fame on Spirit.
For what purpose, though? For who?
Just on picture of hands, yeah.
I mean, like...
I think Fame is sensational. I think he's very, very good.
I mean, it's your absolute best case scenario, isn't it? Oh, and then Passion UA could have a real Ukrainian. That would be good.
Is Quem not a real Ukrainian?
Well, I'm not saying he's not a real Ukrainian, but he's not a real Counter-Strike player, at least.
Oh, I see. Okay. Zontic's having his one life game for event.
But I mean, other than that, like the biggest hope for them is like Hotu, and then it starts getting really dark because I'm pretty sure both of their English is pretty shit.
No, they're both pretty okay. I don't think they're good international teams, but like,
no, like I've interviewed one of them and it was passable. The other, it was terrible.
Oh. I think in game it's definitely different, right? But I think Fame would be okay. But I just don't think he needs to. But yeah, or what happens is you probably just have like the free
They go on
agents
the regional rankings,
will just like come together and make a team that will be signed by someone. I think it's probably more likely.
I mean, I guess Bet Boom. Like, you get rid of Siren and Dilladez, you get Flit and Fame. Like,
I'd love Siren, my goat.
Yeah, there's some decent firepower there. Then I believe Magic is the team that
that's a big
King
team.
T suggested, because obviously he knows who these people are, which you shouldn't.
Yeah,
really.
some of us have jobs,
Should
right?
you?
So we can't.
Hey, he's got a job now, actually.
Does he? Well done.
Yeah,
that
does.
wasn't even a whether
He
or not
does.
he did have a job. That was just I have a job, so I don't watch Magic playing Counter-Strike.
Or maybe it was K27 they suggest. I don't know. All these
K27
people are
actually
just
alright.
like, these teams aren't real, man. You can't convince me that half of these names are even like they are just regens created by HLTV to populate the
Have you
Counter-Strike
seen?
world.
I think they're called Bet M33. They go.
Oh,
they're
is
one
this
of
an
the,
ESL
one of the
plug?
Atlanta teams.
This is an ESL plug. Well done.
No, they're one of the Atlanta teams. What the fuck are these guys?
Well, listen, this is enough for me to move on. I don't want to talk about these.
Look at Whitebeard. What? Look at that team. Look at those names.
Oh my god. This is a team, isn't it? Nickelback, Lackey, Elian, Forrester and Travis.
Just all like ex-Amcal players, right?
Oh, what a team. What a team. Anyway, Virtus.Pro. What do you think is next for Virtus.Pro?
I don't think they have a team.
Because, like, they either buy one of these teams, buy another team, or just become some, like, academy or...
Well, like, the two guys they promoted from their academy were both shit. Like,
yeah, they
like,
weren't good.
The fucking... Is it Turo? The fucking
Turo-
weird-looking guy. He was just...
Turo
Like, he
and
was just
Bist.
really bad. Bist was, like, okay.
Have
but
you
the
just
Turo
called a
guy was-
17-year-old a weird-looking guy?
He is weird-looking, like, I'm sorry. I just... You
What's
knew who I
his-
was referring to.
Is it T capital O0? Is that how it's spelled? Producer Charlie, get him up. Let's take
No,
a
it's
look.
like-
Let's see how...
T... Yeah, sure, that probably works better.
Yeah, that works better. Oh, he's 18. It's fine. It's fine.
Fair game. He's got .883.
Well, yeah, when they're 18, you can call them weird looking. Or if they're like 16 and really fat, like, no. I'm not mentioning
Like
who.
Segukawa.
But... Okay, you've done it. Fucking...
Big boy. He's a big boy.
You need an extra catering budget when he turns up. Anyway,
So I benched him.
yeah, I can't see what's next for Virtus.Pro at all, because it's certainly absolutely just the darkest era for them in Counter-Strike right now. And they've had some shit. Like, when that Polish team fell apart, they were fucking awful. And it was embarrassing because they had a team of legends. But now it's like, their academy team isn't good. Their main team doesn't even have a core. Like,
Yeah.
you got to start again and probably just back out for a bit and wait for the right moment. You know, kind of like a Cloud9. Kind of like
Is that
a
like a-
Cloud9.
Oh, that wasn't like a loaded Cloud9
No,
like
they-
a new Russian team.
That's what they did, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
no, and it was,
maybe that's
it was
best for
reasonable.
Virtus.Pro. Yeah. But you know what
Yeah.
isn't reasonable?
Tell me, mate.
Lying. Just outright lying. And probably being paid to lie. And they're not saying that you're being paid to lie. And you seem confused, so I'll...
No, I figured
I'll
it
tell
out
you.
now. Yeah.
I'm talking about everyone's, and every TO especially's, favourite Danish supremacist, Casper Strauss. For those of you
Is
who
it
don't
Straub
know,
or Strauss or Straub?
I don't care.
I'm going to say Straub.
Okay, Straub, because it makes him sound like more of a dickhead. Casper Straub, who is the former sporting director of Heroic, it's on the screen, sports director at
Director at
Astralis, and head of
Head, yeah.
performance at Heroic, which are both made up things that just mean the same. But
Do you know
for
what
the
this is?
time
Do you know-
being,
do you know what
he
this
just
is?
chills and comments on whatever he feels like.
There's a tweet I saw from like an analyst for one of the teams at SI right now.
Please
Siege
don't
Invitational.
say something that ends with slop.
No, that is slop. But
You'll figure it out later. It's fine. Just keep talking.
Just saying, like, you know, it's unfair that the analysts and stuff aren't allowed to go and do the trophy lift and stuff. These made up roles, like head of performance and all this shit, don't touch the trophy. You didn't win it. The players and the coach did. You're part of the team. That's fine. I think if you aren't in the server or in TeamSpeak, you don't get to touch the trophy.
I would just like to point out right now that currently Jack's name in the software that we use to record the podcast is top 8 major analyst.
It's not incorrect.
Blood thinks he's on the team. But anyway, so let's talk about this, right? So Casper Stroud
Well, I wouldn't have lifted the trophy. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway.
Right, okay.
Anyway. Casper
You'd
Stroud.
have certainly took a photo of you next to it and then stroked yourself looking at it in the mirror, but whatever.
Who fucking wouldn't? That's awesome. Anyway.
Okay. Casper Stroud posted a thread when the PGL Cluj invites went out.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, no, he waited a month to post this, because of course he did. And the first tweet says, why is PGL slowly but steadily encouraging teams to prioritise their tournaments? Now, Producer Charlie, if you could scroll down, I thought me and Jack, with our experience with TOs, could have a lot of fun just going through this one by one and going through some of the bullshit. The PCs at PGL are the best. To be fair, ESL has improved in this area, but PGL consistently delivers top-notch PCs and monitors. Unlike Blast, for example, PGL maintain the same setup in both the practice room and on stage, which should always be the case and often isn't in reality. Now, I don't know about this practice room stuff. Funnily enough, I've never been in a practice room, nor do I care. But I will say, players are massive fucking divas about PCs, and they moan if it drops even 10 FPS from about 650 that they get, which at that point, you're not fucking realising it, and you're looking for an excuse for whiffing and also being generally shit.
Maybe your config is shit and broken, but that's
maybe your config is shit and broken.
I do think
twat.
Everyone should have you should have the best PCs at events. I think that's a given.
Of course.
But caveat, right? ESL obviously has to use Intel CPUs, and technically the AMD's flagship right now is the better CPU. I don't think anyone would notice if you didn't tell them, realistically.
No, they wouldn't.
It's just,
of course they wouldn't.
And of course, everyone's playing on fucking 1024 res with everything on low. So I get about 600 FPS now on my PC, native. I'm sure they're doing enough.
But this is where a lot of people in Counter-Strike don't realise that out of all the esports, apart from League of Legends, which is on a level, League and Counter-Strike players are the biggest fucking divas imaginable. Mm-hmm. The difference in what CS players and League players are willing to do for fans and media compared to Rainbow Six, Rocket League, all these other esports where they will dedicate so much time, especially the Rainbow Six players. The time they dedicate to fans and media is incredible. Everything a fucking CS or League player moans about is largely a fucking non-issue, or just a lie they've invented themselves. I have to deal with
the responsibility that's given to me by my career. Oh, what a shame.
But I'd also like to point out...
We'll get to one of the other tweets in this, but I have some points on this topic, but we'll wait till there.
But I'd also like to point out, right, the PCs at PGL are the best. Why are there so many fucking tech issues then? If they're this good, why is there a tech issue every fucking series? Fuck off. I'm not having it. They're either good or you just set them up like shit. Okay, next one. No catering, figure it out yourself is a concept that PGL uses. Sometimes at other events, your team has to settle for French fries and burgers 2-3 hours before a match. It's a luxurious meal for the staff, but not so much for the players. I'm going to let you take the first one on this, because I've seen the ESL catering, it doesn't look good, but I've got a lot of things to say about the Blast catering.
again, obviously, so we're saying ESL Blast catering, whatever. The catering will be done by a local provider, right? So it's normally just who you hire, or oftentimes the venue will say, "Hey, this is our catering company." So normally it's actually at the TO's control. Saying that no catering for Garrett itself is like a good thing. No one's making you eat the catering. You can not have it. You can say, "Oh, we're going to have our own food." Like that's absolutely fine. I think providing catering to teams is probably a good thing. I would say. On the topic of luxurious meal for the staff, I'm not sure if he's saying that players and staff get different food, which I think at ESL events they do because the players eat at the player hotel. I'm not 100% sure. It's not luxurious.
Yeah, is he also just trying to imply that?
Is he saying that like the players have like high standards and stuff, and like a burger is only for the pros who are running the event and not the players?
Is he just like
either way, like,
staff
kind of
like disgusting peasants? Like
yeah. Like sorry that we run events. Sorry that we run events so you can have a job, but you know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But also, like, am I right in saying that ESL gives out vouchers for ordering food? I'm sure one of the big TOs does.
I know ESL did. I don't know if it's still a thing now. It might be, hey, we're not catering this event. Here's $100 Uber Eats per player every day, which is fucking obscene, by the way. I'm not sure. It has been the case. I'm not sure if it's still a thing now.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So, Blast Catering, right? The two London events I've done actually was like, it didn't even feel like mass catered food. It felt like genuine, like really good, like really good, like take the piss restaurant quality food, but like actually restaurant quality food. It was really good. It was different every day. It was balanced, and okay, yeah, there was one day where there was a burger for lunch and one day where there was like a sandwich for lunch, but those sandwiches again and burgers again were like packed out, nice quality, and the meal on the evening was not that. There was salad bars and shit, like loads of snacks. Like, fuck you if that's not enough for anyone. And like, let's not pretend that Counter-Strike players are on like fucking crazy like NBA diets or some shit, like eating the way you do, which looks boring and miserable.
Me.
Yeah, it does look boring.
No, it is. But also like that's my own responsibility. Like I'll go to an event.
Yeah.
If I complain about the catering, that's on me, right? Like this like Semfist, when he travels, he'll take like 4 meals on a plane with him because he knows that his diet is his responsibility. Do you know what I mean? Or he will go out and like order shit to accommodate. You know, you just make it work for yourself. If you want to have a restrictive diet or eat in a certain way, that's totally fine. More power to you. But it's not on the company who are catering for, let's bear in mind, hundreds of people a day to fulfill that for you as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just still think that he's saying that like, oh yeah, the staff normally eat gruel, so a burger for them is really nice.
Yeah, which is just outrageous. Like, you are just a fucking knobhead.
Yeah.
But the other events I've been to for Blast as well, the catering was also just of like a pretty decent standard, especially Paris, unsurprisingly. The next tweet says, no unnecessary media hours. PGL excels in sharp execution with players only facing 1.5 hours of media obligations, while other TOs stretch it to 6 to 8 hours of demanding skits, podcasts and interviews. Additionally, PGL's interviews aren't solely focused on their own circuit. They also discuss previous tournaments the team attended. Other TOs could really learn from this approach. Now, I will say, like, Blast have tried to do some skits. They're pretty crap. But they have reduced their media days per team to one absolute maximum 2 hours. And I'm pretty sure you're going to say the same thing, so you go ahead.
I'm gonna go through each point of his message first, okay? And then I'm gonna follow up with the general thing. So, media hours are necessary? Not true. They are necessary, right? Which I'll get to in a moment.
For teams and TOs.
Yeah. Sharp execution. Like, so you're saying either TOs, like, just for context, like when I do a media day, right? So social media will be my column, right? And we will have, say it's 16 teams. 16 teams back to back, okay? So, and say we have half hour with them each. That's 8 hours, okay? That's just for one department. And bear in mind now that, let's say there's 10 stations throughout media day. So you've got makeup, you've got hero shots, you've got interviews, you've got podcasts, skits, all the different things that happen, okay? They are long days, but they're also long days for the staff and probably longer because we've got to get set up, plan the content, do all these fucking things for you to show up and do your little half-hour slot. Also, we do rotate the team, so you don't have the same player going to every station, because why would you do that, right?
Blasts also do that.
Yeah, which is just reasonable. Podcast and interviews, I think those are generally good content. I know the ESL podcast perform very well. And the topic about them solely focused on their own circuit, I would like him to find any ESL podcast / interview where, if it's relevant, another TOs event isn't mentioned. I know we absolutely do not we don't not mention other TOs. We've even done graphics that have shown previous trophies and stuff. There is stuff where we'll be like, who will be the DHL MVP, right? Or who will win the ESL Grand Slam? But those are obviously completely reasonable things to ask because they're partnered. You wouldn't ask someone who will be the HLTV MVP because you don't own that, right? I think that's very reasonable. The overall issue here, though, unnecessary. No, esports is an entertainment product. We are an entertainment industry. We're not sport. You are not athletes. You are entertainers. You are showmen. You need to build your brand for your own career's sake, and also, we need to use your image to sell our event. Okay, it's a very cyclical industry. Okay, players play the game. TOs think this is cool. Let's host some events for this. Players come and do those events. We need you to do media to sell the event. Very, very simple. If you troll the media days or stop, and I've had players who've just inted media days before, and it's like, okay, great, you've wasted half an hour of my day. Now I just dislike you as well. Awesome. And everyone thinks you're a cunt. So well done. But again, it's entertainment. You're not again, outside of this very niche ecosystem, apart from maybe a handful of players, no one knows who the fuck you are. You are not a celebrity. You're not important. Do you know what I mean? And that's not to be a discredit to them, but you're entertainers first. You're athletes second, if you want to call yourself that.
Yeah. And it's just
to benefit from the way the scene is. You have to play ball. You have to partake in the media, but again, traditional sports, football, exit interviews, all these things happen. Do you know what I mean? Any sport, if you have to do fucking media stuff, you fucking do it because you understand that it's part of the ecosystem and you fulfill each other's quotas. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and that is the important thing about things. Stop being a sport at a pretty low level, and they become an entertainment product. The Premier League, entertainment product. NBA, entertainment product. MLB, entertainment product. NFL, entertainment product. Anything that has an organisation attached to it like that, it is an entertainment product. It's the only way those things survive. And that means
you can't sell
doing media.
Result-based content like
no,
sport
you can't.
Without it being entertaining.
Yeah.
And yes, the sport element is, but you have to engage with these players, with these storylines, to be a fan of these people, to take an interest in it. You have to like the people, and the whole point of media is to humanize these otherwise unnamed in-game characters.
But also, right now, I think what a lot of people don't realise is PGL is a pretty small company. They think because they've done however many CS majors and however many Dota TIs that they must be a big company. They're not. Valve just likes them.
They also have, I think, very, very few full-time staff.
Yeah.
When they get a major or a TI, I would say, and this is just me purely guessing, 60% of their staff will be freelancers.
Yeah, I mean, Silviu's either got something on someone on Valve, or he's just really good at rim jobs, and that's why they get all these tournaments, despite being very small by comparison. But if PGL are looking to grow, which things I'm hearing suggest that, and PGL's actions against ESL suggest that, well, how well did that go, dickheads? They will need to make more money, in which case they will need to bring in more sponsors, in which case more media will become obligated. And that will just completely change the entire purpose
again,
of this.
good luck selling to a partner, and you say, oh yeah, we only get 1 hour of media a day with the teams per event.
Yeah. So this point is just so stupid. It's so stupid. To counter the limited media time with players, they hire top-notch, sometimes harsh, but fair experts to fill in the in between game segments. Personally, I find it much more engaging to listen to analysts/hosts like Richard Lewis and Maui Snake rather than watching a skit. Actually, just a point before we go into this. Don't the players generally quite enjoy the skits? I've never heard bad words said about the ESL media days.
No, there's some players on some teams will complain about skits that are maybe self-deprecating.
Fine.
You can kind of guess what players and what teams, right? I'm not going to allude to anything too hard. But no, I think people generally have fun. Like if the humiliation ritual thing that the ESL did at Krakow, that was like kind of playing on the Budapest thing, right?
UA one.
Yes, just funny. Like yes, Grim's wearing a fucking gimp dog mask. That's funny, and he's up for that, which is always a good thing. I will say I like Richard and Maui. I actually think Maui Snake's a very good analyst, so that point is fine.
Like, be careful.
Saying about talent hiring is like that's an actual valid criticism, I would say. But it's also subjective. It's because it's entirely subjective, I would say. Like,
I mean, especially after ESL's recent talent hires, like,
well,
yes
and no, right? Like
it was a swing and a miss.
JL will admit himself he didn't do a good job, right? But I think it actually is a pretty hard job to do. Knowing the game and being able to speak about it are just entirely different things, right? It's the reason like some people in the industry have jobs, but they're actually clueless about Counter-Strike, but they can just talk about things properly, right? Not mentioning any names. But he's saying that as if ESL and Blast don't have desk segments, which they just do most of the time.
And Blast,
you might
also,
get like
Blast
on an ESL broadcast, you might get 2 skits go out a day, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's one end of map in potentially 12 maps per stream.
Skits, which by the way the general audience loves, and again, it's an entertainment product. It's just a good thing to have them.
And also, just on the topic as well, and this is me being kind of personal and precious about it, but like the guys who like there's one guy who writes these skits, okay, and then he has to go there and try and direct players to do the fucking thing 100 times because they're just idiots who don't follow it, and then they've got to edit it overnight to post it the next day. Like players like trolling that shit or like complaining about it, like sorry you had to like pretend to play CS for half an hour. That's normally what they are. Normally it's sitting in the booth or like, hey, put this funny costume on. Like, that's generally the extent of it. I just think it's so fucking entitled and stupid.
Yeah. But on the specific analyst thing, like, I really like Richard and Maui. Like, but sometimes I don't even know if Maui believes what he says. Like, I think he's just doing the hot take thing. And I really respect that because I'm kind of the same. Like, there's some little truth to it, and then you just amp it up for the entertainment. And
I think that's a good contrast to have on a desk, though. You need a
halo
on the face, basically.
But my main point is, like, let's not pretend that Blast and ESL don't also hire good analysts, because we are blessed to have a number of good analysts in the scene. And they both also hire Freya frequently, who is the best host by far. So again, I think if Chris says, "Oh, I didn't like the person talking about this game in between the game," you don't have to watch it, man. Like I actually just don't think it's a real complaint. It Which
doesn't matter.
Most people don't. But anyway,
and he's like glazing PGL here. Does he sit and watch the desk segments in between? Especially when you're on a team, surely you're finishing your game and then you go back to the hotel to practice. So get real.
Yeah. Okay, so the next tweet says, like it or not, the Swiss format they use is the most lucrative for teams in terms of rising or maintaining their position in the VRS. They're also the first tournament organiser to introduce a third place decider match, which is far better than show matches. Plus, the players actually want to compete for that third place.
I'll disagree about that third point if you watch the Spirit Mouse game at Krakow. But otherwise, that's totally fair. And again, that's a valid, good criticism because it's about tournament structure.
They pay out their prize money and salaries very quickly. I'm not sure how salaries are managed by other TOs, but for many organisations, it truly matters to have the winnings released sooner rather than later. The industry is facing financial challenges, and funds cannot be spent until they are in the bank account.
Yes, Casper Straub, the industry is facing financial challenges, which is probably why some TOs don't pay as fast as others. I do think prize money should be very quickly, though. I think that's totally fair.
They are easy to get in touch with before and during the tournament and are always eager to assist teams and players with both large and small requests. They actually deal with the problems. Any issues that arise are rarely escalate in size because the upper management is just as accessible as the crew on the ground. Well, I'm glad they're accessible for teams and players, because trying to work with them from our end is it's not easy. It's not easy. That was a big mess before the Copenhagen Major, where a lot of people didn't know what was going on. But also, I know how easy it is for teams to contact Blast staff. So it's just bollocks. Like,
I mean, for ESL, every team has a player manager assigned, who like from ESL side during an event. Like, you actually have like basically a PA for the team who is doing, whether it's getting you room temperature water or fresh bananas, which is things that teams have fucking requested. Do you know what I mean? Or just organising shit. Because, again, these adults, these very rich adult people who can't fucking book an Uber and shit themselves. I digress. I just think that's probably not... yeah, I'm sure they are good, but I feel like most TOs are pretty good in that regard. A lot of the player managers are freelancers anyway, so you're dealing with the same people, whether it's at PGL or ESL or Blast. So it's kind of redundant.
You go to a Blast event and an ESL event, you see a lot of the same player managers.
Referees, player managers, that kind of stuff, yeah.
The hotels are always of a super high standard, and the practice rooms and facilities, such as fitness amenities, are exceptional. When you're competing for 10 plus days, having these facilities nearby is essential to give players a chance to step outside of the game.
Probably, yeah. I think most TOs do put
yeah.
ESL definitely puts players in the better hotel.
So does Blast.
So, yeah, that's correct.
Right.
It's not comparison. Like, that's just a normal at this point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but its presence in this thread suggests that the others don't.
Well, that's
which
why
is just a lie.
Yeah, it just seems very intentionally written.
Right, this one. And this is why I've gone for everything, because I wanted the build up to this. This is just so good. I have witnessed very few technical issues at PGL tournaments, both on stage and in the studio, because they have more than one highly qualified staff member to find solutions. In contrast, other TOs usually rely on just one person who can actually get things done. Right, so I got a couple of points. PGL events are known for having tech issues. PGL events are also infamous for having the worst audio quality imaginable. And also, I'd just like to point out that the connotation of the final sentence of this tweet suggests that the people in PGL can only, maybe find solutions, but don't get it done. However, the other TOs just have a bloke who just comes in and fixes it instantly. So you've actually made PGL sound like shit there. Well done, Casper, you prick.
It's also just like, everything he's written here just makes you think he's a bit of a cunt. Because it's the way he's referring to people.
Well, I didn't need to read this thread to know that.
Well, quite. But again, they only have one person to actually get things done. Yeah, man, I'm sure everyone on site at the event is useless. And I'm probably being a little bit bitter and taking this personally here, right? But I just think, you're kind of just being a moron. And then a lot of the replies here is saying, okay, well, ESL does good skits and we enjoy them.
Yeah. And this is... I mean, the entire thing just feels like a lie, and it feels like it's been paid for and then not disclosed. Before
3 months, he's listed as tournament director of PGL Esports.
Yeah. But I think what a lot of people don't realise as well is that PGL are trying to do a lot of shady things in the background. I've heard a whisper of them trying to get teams to sign a letter of intent to play their events, which probably, probably goes towards the idea of a partner system, actually, PGL. So, maybe don't do that. But Silvio, their CEO, is known for being just basically,
a prick.
A bit erratic.
And angry, yeah. And posting... Yeah, no, go on.
But he came for ESL's throat and lost. And it seems likely that he'll probably go over at Blast's throat and will probably lose because the people at Blast are smart enough to already have a counter in mind.
And if you're going to swing at the king, boy, You better not miss. That's what I have to say to him.
I thought you were going to do the box with God line then, but whatever. Whatever.
That would have been better. That would have been really good.
It would have been better. Would have been
Your
better.
arms
And
so
also,
just not long enough.
And also, I would just like to point out, I know people were calling the PGL buttfuck nowhere tournament that happens the same time as Astana, not Astana. It might be in Astana actually. That happens the same time as Atlanta. They were calling that a big win because the PGL tournament has the better team list. Well, it's pretty close to Cologne. Teams don't really want to be travelling to America when they can travel within Europe. And also people don't want to be travelling to America that much at the moment anyway. So that's why that's happened. Very difficult
visa region too.
Yeah, very difficult visa region. Even though that's why they don't want
visa
to travel.
Regions are announced, years in advance at this point.
Yeah.
I digress.
And if you think that, there's anything more to it than that, well then you can look at this PGL tournament where only 3 of the top 10 teams decided to attend, and that's because it's just after the major cut-off. So that lets you know exactly what teams really do think of PGL, at least at this point in time. It's also got a big prize pool. Well done, PGL. Quickly. You're pumping money into it. Did you know that VRS has a cap on money, PGL? Go bankrupt yourselves.
I just do think it's the whole thing with VRS and visa regions having to be announced 2 years in advance, right? Sounds good in theory, except the invites are only ever done by the last VRS window anyway. So, are you telling me that Bet33M all had American visas ready for this event they got to through an open qualifier? Do you know what I mean? And Shilby with his I Love Rules hat and Mr. Good Boy t-shirt, telling everyone that he follows the rules and saying these events will not happen. They missed the deadline and all his dumb shit. Again, these things don't have to be public. They can be communicated between the teams. That's actually totally fine. You don't have to declare everything, via a blog post or a tweet. Yeah. And on the PGL topic, they recently posted a tweet where they were showing the price increase for their tickets from Wave 1 to Wave 2. And it's a sizable jump actually. And it just shows kind of the global perception and attitude towards the different TOs. Because there weren't many replies saying, "You're greedy, money grabbing, sell out," all this shit that the other 2 big TOs do get. I just found that kind of interesting. You know
what would be interesting to see? What the percentage difference is in the ticket price increases from Wave 1 to Wave 2 from the big 3 tournaments or the big 3 TOs.
Yeah.
That would be something interesting to look at. If you want to do that, I can do a slight fill. Are you doing that?
No, I'm not fast enough at numbers for that. But
okay, well in that case, maybe we'll discuss that another time. Maybe I'll discuss that in a deep dive, which you can now hear about, or at least hear about a newsletter in our lovely ad. So Jack, do you find it hard to keep up with all the news in Counter-Strike?
I do. I took a weekend off and I came back to 6 new RGLs, 3 retirements, and apparently NAVI's Waterboy got picked up by a top 20 team.
Right, that's why I've been relying on the TLDR newsletter. It's a bi-weekly email that keeps you up to speed on everything in the CS scene, without needing to scroll Reddit for 3 hours while questioning your life choices.
Yeah, it's like if HLTV had a baby with your funniest friend who actually watches every game. You get quick hits of news, spicy roster moves, upcoming match schedules, and even some insider gossip. All killer, no filler.
And let's be honest, some of these tournament formats, you need a guide just to figure out who's playing who. TLDR breaks it all down, so you actually know what the hell's going on.
Plus, it's funny. Actually funny. It's like reading a group chat between smart CS fans who roast everything in sight, but still care deeply about the game.
So if your brain's full, but your heart still beats for Counter-Strike, do yourself a favour. Sign up for the TLDR newsletter. It's free, fast, and guaranteed to make you smarter. Or at least sound smarter in Twitch chat.
Check out the link down below and subscribe, because the only thing more tragic than missing a major upset is not even knowing it happened.
TLDR. You don't have time to read everything, but you still want to sound like you did. Okay, so it's time to talk about some actual Counter-Strike that's being played, because PGL Cluj-Napoca is on, and it's got a good team list. But we will both admit, because unfortunately we've been very busy because the weekend was Valentine's Day and there was other things going on. Jack is lonely. It was only an issue
It's not
for
why
me.
I was busy. Yeah.
I was. We actually haven't been able to watch much of this event, but there are some takeaways. The first one is on the B8 AWPA watch. Sizzy is certainly better than Segukawa, but he's still not great, and Bait will unfortunately continue to slide down, it seems. But at least they won't be rolling down like they would have been with Segukawa.
You're horrible. You're really not nice.
Yeah, no, that wasn't nice. Also dipping down are FaZe and 3D Max.
I like 3D Max, but FaZe, woo!
And
Kill
Pain
that
as
team.
well, for what it's worth. Pain have gone out 0-3, so 3D Max. Both of those teams look terrible at the moment. The moves Pain made were obviously bad, and they're just not working. And 3D Max seem to have not just hit the plateau, but also just rebounded off it, and just like gone
And landed further down.
Yeah, just gone flying down, and it really feels like they need a change away from France at this point. Like they need something international just to like spice them up a bit. FaZe went out 1-3, just another just awful tournament from them.
Yeah,
like,
they beat Orpalus Heroic. Well done.
and it's at the point as well, Jack, where like I'm actually bored of talking about it. I don't want to talk about them. I'm not going to... I think I might start set a new rule. We don't talk about FaZe until they...
Make changes, yeah.
Make changes.
Free frozen.
Mongols are starting to show some potential. They had a series against... Which one was it? It was their first game, was it? Yeah, it was the Pain game.
Mm-hmm.
Where they lost map 1. And then, I can't remember which way round it was, but Xenio and Cobra Zero just fisted them for the next 2 maps. So they lost 13-7 on Nuke on map 1. They then won Mirage 13-1 and Dust 2 13-2. And on one of those, Cobra Zero went something like 25-4. Like, he has just had his way with them.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, there we go. 5 opening kills for Cobra Zero in that one, 4 in that
Pretty
one.
good.
So
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not totally convinced by the Mongols, but that's a good.
Honestly, though, as if they're just like in and around top 10ish, I'm alright with that. I don't need him to be a top 5 team again, really.
No, I mean no, because they were never going to win anything. But anyway, it's time to look at the take of the week though, because FUT have also continued to look strong.
I love feet.
And okay, right. Let's pretend like that didn't happen. They've continued to look strong. They are currently, I think they're currently playing actually, aren't they, Charlie?
They're playing Furia? No.
Have they already played?
They played today.
Oh, that was it. They lost 2-0 to Mouse today, so they're in the 2-2 bracket.
Yeah.
The day you are hopefully watching this, because you should all be watching this straight away. And they
That's
play
an
NAVI,
exciting match.
which is exciting because the core is formerly of NAVI Academy, or at least they play NAVI right now. I guess that might reseed itself on the basis of the
Let's hope
but
so.
Anyway,
For storyline reasons.
so FUT obviously have a very talented team like Jugs.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how we're saying it?
Jugs, yeah.
Jugs.
Jugs.
Right, Jugs and Demon, very, very good players. Krebeni, like, also solid. Cemetery, he exists. And Launx, he's very good when he wants to be. He's very good when he wants to be, but
Navi
he's...
junior team.
No, I think he's inconsistent, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, he is more inconsistent, but he is very good when he wants to be. And that brings us to the take of the week, because Tea Time tweeted, honestly, the joke is that FUT with Wonderful and Makazi might be better than Navi's current team. it definitely would be more exciting for sure. The only shortfall is Krebeni versus Alexi B, but if you give me the original Navi Junior with Wonderful / Alexi, by God. And you know what? Fair. The reason I made this the take of the week is because it actually is kind of alarming that it took someone this long to tweet it. I wish I had this thought, because it's just true. Yeah. Like, there is so much more potential in the FUT team than there is in the NAVI team, and I don't doubt for a second that Makazi is a stronger player than Lawrence overall. I know he's I know he's struggling a bit on some of the maps right now, but that'll come with time, because on the other maps he's actually just too good. Mm-hmm. And it's actually just like, well, FUT can't be bought as a core, which kind of makes it a shame, really. And obviously they want to stick with Coolio, which is also, you know, a really good indictment of how good of a coach he is. Yeah. But it's just mental to think, isn't it? Like, Navi, despite the major, have started the year so poorly that their stock is so low that actually
their former academy team is looking better than them. Yeah.
This does just make sense, and I don't have much more to say than that, because I feel like I've spoke about FUT a lot on this podcast. Like, they're really good, they're really enjoyable to watch, and I think they will be a genuine threat by the end of this year, because they already are. They just need experience, and it will be interesting to see what they do when they hit plateaus, because Cemetery is a plateau, like that is for sure. Launch potentially is the next one after that. And I don't think FUT are exactly fucked for cash, and they seem to be quite well run on the basis they inserted that no core sale clause.
Yeah.
So, do you know
is
what?
Scream still technically on their bench?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because, like, the month before they signed this team, they did, like... Oh, no. They did, like, have a weird sort of French team with Navira and Scream both on the roster, right?
Yeah, but they were there
for, like... Play.
They were there for, like, that short of a time that I don't think it even shows on people's profile. I think they played, like, 4 games or something.
That's amazing. Check Navira for me, producer Charlie. Click the FUT team. What was that roster? Wasn't it fucking Kyojin and the other guy?
Click on the roster tab. It was
Jax Deverdivek. That's crazy.
I mean, that is Drac. Believe he's an AWPer.
And then a bench Scream, who's like part timer. Masuta was there. Oh, Masuta was. They kept him before they got launched, didn't they? Yes.
Yeah, and he wasn't particularly good. But yeah, other than that, with Cluj, Falcons and Vitality went 3-0. And there really isn't much else to say. Vitality, once again, absolutely wiped the floor with Mouse. It's gone about as you'd expect. So, yeah, we'll probably have something more concrete to say about it next week. But now, Jack, it's time for you to bid farewell, because I'm going to do a segment with Logan where we talk about betting or some shit. So, farewell, I suppose.
Farewell. And for the audio-owned listeners, you can just pretend that I've become an American, because you wouldn't know any difference otherwise, you know? If you fancy that.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so we're back, and for audio-only listeners, there'll now be an American voice joining me, and for video viewers, you get to stare at a much better-looking other half of the screen. Logan's here, so Logan, how are you doing? It's been a while since you've been on the podcast.
Yeah, this week I'm coming to you still from America, land of America, and I'm the official TLDR political and technology correspondent or something like that. We're going to deem my new role here.
Because we're about to get serious. It's actually been quite a serious show. This has been like CS adjacent focused week.
Okay.
So we'll continue that now. And the reason Logan's here is because he actually requested to be on. It wasn't me begging him to be on like it normally is. Because in the past week, Blast have announced a sponsorship with Polymarket, who will be an official prediction partner. Now, this is an important word, and in a moment, Logan will go through and point you in a direction to learn about what Polymarket is and explain it very briefly himself. But the word prediction is important. No, it's not gambling or betting. It is prediction. So they'll be working with Blast for Dota and Counter-Strike events in 2026. So Logan, please, sir, what is Polymarket?
Okay, so I want to start with the fact that I will explain Polymarket and why it's not betting to the best of my ability. But if you really want to have a good understanding of this, we will link a video down below from Pablo Torre, who has an investigative journalism, does sports investigative journalism. He has a really incredibly good video on what prediction markets are and how they are not actually gambling markets. I'm not going to do as good of a job as him, but we'll have a good enough job.
And for the sake of the video people with us, you'll notice all these colours. Very nice for the Zoomers, I hear. A lot of visual intrigue for the ADHD minds of us all. But yes, sorry, Logan, continue. Okay.
So, the basic thing here is Polymarket and Kalshi. They both fit under the same wing of prediction markets. Neither of them are betting markets. Because what a betting market is that the betting market, let's say in America, the one that we all know is DraftKings, but in esports, let's say 1xBet or any of the above, right? They will set odds for a game, okay? And basically, when they set odds for a game, they will go, it is 1.34 times more likely for this team to win. You can buy at that, and you will pay out to that degree. What Polymarket and Kalshi and other prediction markets do is they create a contract between multiple users. A yes and a no on a given outcome. And there's no other than yes or no, or win or loss. They are all binary choices. And when you buy a contract, there's someone else, sometimes the prediction company themselves, but sometimes it's another person, buying the other half of a contract. So, for example, if you wanted to say NAVI versus FaZe, okay? I don't know which team's better at this point. It's probably, let's say it's 60% chance that FaZe is likely to win. You can buy the FaZe win contract at $0.60, okay? Or 0.60 euros for 60 cents, okay? And if you win, you get the whole dollar. And someone else could buy the NAVI side for 0.40, okay? And if they win, they will get the whole dollar. But if whoever loses doesn't get anything, okay? Makes sense? You're putting parts of a dollar in, and that's what it is. There's no multiplier based on odds. It's just you're putting part of a total set of 100 in, or total set of $1 in, and you will get back that part. Now, when people make bets on predictions on Polymarket and Kalshi and stuff, they will make them in terms, they will make multiple of them. You don't just, people will generally not just put $1, and they'll say, I want to put $100 on X thing about to happen. So on the surface, that doesn't sound terrible. It sounds roughly like betting, and that's one thing. If you want to do that, fine. We here. If you want to go bet, go bet. Do your thing. Where this comes into an issue is in the regulation of this. Okay? In America, where Polymarket is based. So Polymarket is based in New York City, so about an hour away from me right now. They are not taxed or put down by the federal government as a betting company. They do not operate as a betting company, therefore they do not get taxed as a betting company, and they do not fall under betting rules and regulations in the United States. I don't know how this is in the rest of the world, but I can speak very clearly to the United States point of view. I have a feeling Europe's laws are probably a bit stricter than America's laws, but
they tend to be.
They tend to be. So we'll focus on the American one here because I have a feeling that the Polymarket partnership with Blast is very America-focused to begin with.
I can jump in here and say a lot of things Blast do are very America focused because thanks to the Austin Major, a lot of the sign-ups on Blast TV are American, and outside of Germany, there's also a lot for Germans for some reason. There is a massive amount of viewers on Blast for Americans.
Let's put it this way. If you live in Belgium, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, Italy, Russia, and a couple other places, you are completely blocked from accessing Polymarket.
Brilliant.
Like, just straight up, you cannot get there. Which is really awesome. And I will note that I just opened Polymarket on a computer, and Furia Paravision Game 2 is literally right on the front screen. Okay, so with this, the lack of any regulation behind this is the problem. So with betting, we have seen in the NBA, and I'm going to send another link to producer Charlie. So previously, betting scandals have happened in other sports leagues. So right now up on the screen is an ESPN article about Jontay Porter, who was a Toronto Raptors basketball player who bet on himself within games in the NBA. He bet on point totals and a couple other things, including like how many points would he get in a game, and he would have the coach take himself out or fake an injury in order to hit one side of the line. Okay? That's not good for viewers of the sport, for viewers of anything, right? As inherently a bad thing. But an NBA player or any sports player could make a huge amount of money off of this, right? Now, Jontay Porter was found out. His NBA salary was about $410,000 a year. He made, I think it was a couple million, but he made about $1 million, it seems, from his gambling after the fact. He has now been sentenced. He's going to be sentenced or has been sentenced. However, this the timing on this is, he's been banned from the NBA for betting on himself. Okay. We now move into Counter-Strike. If you are a Counter-Strike player for a professional team, and I'm not really talking about the like you're on Vitality or or not Paravision, like Vitality or Furia or Liquid, or if you're on one of the big tier 1 teams, that's one thing, right? I'm not certain that you would do this, but if you're on one of the more tier 2 teams who's been accused of match fixing before, as we've seen with the iBuyPower stuff in North America, or with like the radar cheating that happens
everywhere in Europe right now.
Yeah, everywhere in Europe. Yep.
Match fixing and spot fixing and all that bollocks.
It's incredibly easy for you, the player, in a tier 1 tournament that no one's really paying attention to say the under on I'm going to get 12 kills in a game. You get your 11 kills or you get 10 kills, and you just kind of chill out for the rest of the game, and you make sure you're not really getting kills. You're making sure you're getting assists, and you may throw the game a little bit, but you don't care because you just made a shit ton of money because you bet. So Polymarket isn't regulated in the same way, which I've mentioned before. And the reason I say that is because in the NBA, in Counter-Strike, there's anti-betting procedures. Or there can be and should be anti-betting procedures, in that you can't bet on yourself, you can't bet on the game. Right? For example, Sam cannot bet to a certain degree when he was working for Blast, right? Because you know insider information, I believe.
Yeah, I cannot.
Okay, so because you know insider information, you can. But you could go do predictions on Polymarket, technically. Unless that was specifically written into your contract, it's a different thing right now. Which leads us to the conversation about insider information, because in America, we had the Super Bowl last weekend. Lady Gaga, there was nothing anywhere on the fact that Lady Gaga was going to be in the halftime show. Not a single peep from anyone. Bad Bunny was the halftime show. All we knew is Bad Bunny was going to be there. There was no like post about, oh, Bad Bunny's going to bring out Lady Gaga. Bad Bunny's going to bring out Ricky Martin or whatever. The way we found out was someone kept buying contracts on Polymarket that Lady Gaga was going to be there. So much so that Polymarket started to get a 90% chance that said Lady Gaga would be at the Super Bowl. It was the only way there was any knowledge. There wasn't a ton of tweets that said it. It wasn't Lady Gaga coming out and saying it. It wasn't the record label saying, hey, watch tonight. You may see someone interesting. It's just Polymarket. And it comes back to saying that actually it was somebody who was in the performance that was watching rehearsals that knew Lady Gaga was going to be in it, that bet on it, that bought this contract. So someone with complete insider information was able to use their position against everyone else to make a shit pile of money. Not only that, if you thought, okay, it's the Super Bowl, who cares? The United States government, I am going to speak geopolitically for a moment, kidnapped Nicolas Maduro, the leader of Venezuela, and brought him to New York to face charges.
Oh, you've skipped out the humiliation ritual. That was good. That was good.
Yeah. Yep. I'm
definitely
going with the facts.
We should do with the leader of a country.
Yep. Definitely the thing. I'm pretty clear that I'm pretty certain most people know how I lean politically, but I'm gonna go straight to the facts here. Okay? Brought the leader to America to face charges, okay? But before that happened, in a SEAL Team 6 operation in America, from Americans, okay, a large bet was placed on Polymarket that the United States would invade Venezuela on that day. And then they captured Nicolas Maduro and exported is the wrong word. Exfiltrated him. Exfiltrated him to America. And that actually started not only people going, what the fuck? How did this guy know that we were about to invade Venezuela to get Nicolas Maduro? Because it was one account that had never made bets before on Polymarket, that had never done any contracts. It's the same with the Lady Gaga account. It wasn't someone who was frequently grabbing all these different contracts. It was just this was the only thing. It was a brand new account betting tonight we will invade Venezuela. So he got paid a shit pile of money, and it was determined that it has to be somebody in the federal workforce that had intimate knowledge of this operation. It could have been one of the SEALs on SEAL Team whatever it was.
Just one of the SEALs on his helicopter ride over. He's just cracked out his phone. He's like, lads, I'm gonna make a fucking killing off this. And they're like, hang on, we've been told seize, capture, no killing. And he's like, that's not what I mean. Just placing his little bet. Sorry, prediction. Not bet. Prediction. Not a bet.
Not a bet. Prediction. And you can see because this operation was so small, right? It was the very top leaders at the United States level. It was the people on the ground actually doing it, and that's about it. There's not that many people that could have actually made this with this much certainty, right? I think they put $400,000 on this was going to happen. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't just $20. It was a shit pile of money.
He just sold his house.
It was a shit pile of money. And it was so much so a shit pile of money that Polymarket has come back and is now not sure whether they can rule exfiltrating the leader of Venezuela from Venezuela as an invasion into Venezuela.
Sorry, I need to interrupt here. So
we've gotten deep into geopolitics here.
For the sake of audio listeners that are somehow still with us, because we're down to a limited number of viewers now. There's this New York Times article on the screen, right? And the headline is: "A fierce debate with Polymarket. Did the US invade Venezuela?" And the subheading is Polymarket users bet on whether the US would invade Venezuela, but the prediction market said the Venezuelan president's capture did not constitute an invasion. What the fuck constitutes an invasion if that doesn't, genuinely?
So it's a great question. And the answer is kind of, we don't know, But because of that, these companies, these prediction market companies, have so much power over the people making actual predictions on it. And the ability for abuse from insider information is rampant. Let's say you are the analyst for a tier 2 Counter-Strike team in Europe. Your player cannot be at a match. Quick little bet, hey, this match is not going to fire, this is not going to forfeit. What's your downside? Quick little prediction saying, hey, this isn't going to happen. There's absolutely zero downside as someone doing that if you have inside information, and it's not protected under any regulation right now.
Well, it's like go back to do you remember the Brovid situation?
I do remember the Brovid situation.
That's like a perfect example within Counter-Strike where someone in Counter-Strike could say, Cadian will be playing for Astralis, or like Bro will be missing from this event, and it's like it's reasonable enough that you could hide it because the signing was like basically announced, but there was roster locks and all that you can then just like place this like fucking $1,000 prediction. Got the terminology right. It's good from me.
Yep.
And who's gonna fucking know you did it?
Yeah. It's anonymous. Like you may put your money in with crypto, right? And there may be no trace back to. So it becomes in such a way that if you have inside information, you will make tons of money off of this. And if you do not know inside information, as it has been said for a while, is that gambling to some degree is rigged against you, right? That this is really rigged against you because if I have purchased one side of the contract, let's go back to that NAVI FaZe example. If it says there's a 60% chance that FaZe win, but I know I'm the FaZe person and I'm on the FaZe side and I know Brokey's not playing in the game, I'm going to go buy the NAVI side. Because the probability Navi's going to win is sure as hell higher. And if you're buying the FaZe side, you don't know who's on the other side. You don't know if the person on the other side is me, brand new FaZe analyst, who knows this information, or if it's just some guy. And that's where it gets into the hairy, difficult thing. So, to come back to this from the beginning. This partnership is probably great for Blast, and the fact that they're going to make a bunch of money and esports tournaments making money is probably a good thing for the health of the scene overall. But integrating a platform in which basically encourages insider trading feels like probably the wrong move from a esports into the future experience, especially without specific regulations and additional regulations on it.
Yeah. And this is the issue with things like this in esports, right? We've already got, like, me and Jack say this a lot on this podcast. Esports is fucking hard to survive in, and it doesn't matter who you are in esports, it's hard to survive in. I can tell you that from the journalist perspective. As producer Charlie is very soon to find out once he is actually looking for more work because his university is finished. Social media, not exactly easy. Editing, not exactly easy. Like, unless you've got a job in ESL, which even then in the last year hasn't exactly been easy, because in the last year they've cut a massive percentage of their workforce. As a player, right? Yes, okay, the tier 1 players are making a lot of money. There are players who attend majors who the money they get from their sticker in that major is probably equivalent to 5, 6, maybe even more years of their salary. Do you think the Mongols players are earning that much? Do you think the ITB guys were earning that much in Paris? No, they weren't. Like, of course they weren't, right? And that's, like, even ITB is like a decent level. You go down like a few more teams in the rankings, and suddenly, like, it's actually like part-time money, and they're like scraping to get by because they just love the game and they realise the position they're in and they don't want to lose that. Or perhaps they live in a country with a lower cost of living and a better current or worse currency, so everything's cheaper or whatever, right? And we already see where even in America, as well as the big problem with it in the NA scene, and especially also a big problem with it in Europe and particularly Eastern Europe, there is a lot of match fixing. There's a lot of like shady bets, multiple sites you're not meant to use, this type of shit. And the fact is, in Counter-Strike, we already have ESIC. And ESIC already can't regulate all that.
I was to say, famed good organization, ESIC.
Yeah. They already can't do anything with that. So then...
What do they do with this?
I know we can't, like... The floodgates were opened before Blast even made this partnership. And I know
now we're
we
putting it
can't
out in the
shut
open.
them. Like, I know we can't shut them because, like, we've said before, if we fucking shut those floodgates, like, the major will be in a tent somewhere. It won't be in an arena. It might be in a hall, but it's more likely it goes the way of the Halo World Championship from a few years ago that just took place in a tent, and the only people watching it were some people staring at a TV screen sat on some bleachers, right? Like, that is the reality of just how important betting and now likely prediction markets are in esports. But how the fuck do we regulate this?
I was just going to say, and I want to note that I know that I just spent the last, 20-something minutes talking about how this is a bad thing because of that. If it has to be done, it kind of has to be done, right? If this is the way to keep Counter-Strike alive forever, then it may just be something that it has to happen.
If this deal gets me paid more by Blast, I'm all fucking for it. I don't fucking care. My Blast income's been a little low for a while. I've been thinking of, like, chatting extra shit about them on this podcast as some weird bitterness thing. I've actually not got much to say about them. There's some very good people that work there, and I think they run good tournaments. But, I was going to lie. No, I wasn't going to do that. Like, I can't complain about these type of things because I need these fucking type of things. I'm happy to say that before we recorded this segment, we were in a meeting together talking about betting sponsorships for TLDR. Because, frankly, TLDR needs money. So if you are still listening at this point, expect them in the future. Because they're coming because TLDR needs fucking money. Right? We need money. It's the only source of money in esports. So in essence, it's good. It's just...
the problem is the regulation. There needs to be, and this goes back to a conversation. We started this podcast in 2021. We are in 2026 right now. And over 5 years of this podcast, I have not gone a year without talking about how the Counter-Strike Players Union needs to exist again, and that ESIC needs to actually be a real entity. Because it is not right now. Because both a Counter-Strike Players Union, who can make sure contracts continuously have stuff in there about you cannot use sites like Polymarket, like DraftKings in the US, like 1xBet. And maybe it is not just in general, it is for Counter-Strike related matters. Or ESIC, who can say, do whatever you want, but we're on the case if something happens. Either of those are actual consequences, or do the Blast contracts with teams have specific things in them that say you cannot use these things? Tournaments trying to hold teams accountable? I don't know. We don't know about any of that. We don't know if any of those things are, if that Blast thing is there, and we certainly do not know that there is not ESIC overarching support or
the thing is
CS Players Association or Union Association support for this.
The thing that concerns me more about that though is not the tier 1 guys. Like,
no,
okay,
it's not the tier 1.
Maybe there's a couple of TO staff that might do something, but the tier 1 pros appreciate that they are in the best position, they get paid the most money, and that their careers are extremely finite. Like, even more than... like, people get on the back... I know you guys don't really have this in, like, your nonsense American sports, but we've got a thing in football at the moment. So, soccer. There you go.
Soccer.
We've got this thing at the moment where a lot of players are moving to Saudi Arabia in the prime of their careers, or perhaps even before the prime of their careers, because the wages in Saudi are astronomical, and a lot of people give them shit for it. But there's a few that have responded, and one of them I can remember is a guy called Mateus Pereira, who used to play for one of the teams in my local area, and he was adored at that team and has always said, like, that is his favourite team he's ever played for. But when he moved to Saudi, he said, what you have to understand is I grew up as a poor person in Brazil. This money I will earn in Saudi Arabia is not just life-changing for me, because he was already earning that kind of money, but it is life-changing for generations of my family. Right. I'm still not worried about the tier 1 guys doing dodgy things to mess up their finite great income.
It's not just a finite thing. I can guarantee you that if you're in a Team Liquid, in a Vitality, in a Furia, in one of these orgs that knows what the fuck they're doing, that they have bits in their contracts that say they cannot bet on Counter-Strike games or stuff like this. And the second that this kind of stuff came out, I am sure that there were lawyers for teams saying that you cannot do this.
But what I was going to say is that, so I didn't know these markets existed until the Lady Gaga thing. That was the first time that I saw a prediction market on my Twitter timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, and especially since Blast have made this partnership, because I guess, like, Twitter knows that I follow Blast and post about Blast stuff a lot, so it's algorithms working overtime or whatever. I get so much of this prediction market bullshit. And that leads me to how many other people lower down the chain also didn't know it existed. How many staff didn't know it existed. So going back to what you said earlier, is how many people are now going to use that and abuse that, where it's like, okay, well, we're a shit tier team in the Roman Imperium Cup 17 or whatever fucking number we're on now, and we know that our shit tier fucking lurker will not be attending the event because his brother's wedding or whatever, and we play NIP in the opening game. So not only were we already at a low chance to lose, like, we're about to announce this, so, like, our chances are basically zero. I'm going to spend my entire month's salary and all my savings on predicting this loss.
This is the interesting thing with prediction markets, is that you can spend that much, and if you were actually betting, you like always want to bet on the other dog, but you are guaranteed that if you win that bet, you will make money, because say that it's a 90-10% split, right? That for every 90 cents you spend, if you win it, you will make $1. So you'll make 10 cents on every single thing. You will make a profit if you win, guaranteed. So if you put $1,000 in,
that is inappropriate.
If you put $1,000 in, you will still make $100,
and
or $90 or whatever it is. But you will make money if you are certain about it.
And if you're a woman and you find one you can put 82 cents in, you will close the gender pay gap.
Jesus Christ.
So, you can also be a feminist by placing predictions. I mean, it's something to consider. It's something to consider.
We've now officially gone off the rails.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm a responsible individual. I've been irresponsible in my past, so I've learned to be responsible. This isn't the type of thing that I'm going to do anything stupid because if I was going to do something stupid, I'd have done it with betting years ago. The amount of things I could have fucking bet on in the last few years, like, I would have just done it by now. I just would have. Like, and I view this, like, oh, it's a prediction, not a bet. It's the same fucking thing. Grow the fuck up.
Yep.
So for me, I trust myself, and if it gets me more money, if it brings more money into the scene, then fucking good. Because like I fucking need it, otherwise you won't be seeing me on this podcast much fucking longer, I'll tell you that. But I just don't trust other people, and that's my main takeaway. Nope. I just don't trust other people.
Yeah, this has nothing. There is no, like, again, the way that you watch Tier 1 Counter-Strike and any certainty that you will have about Tier 1 Counter-Strike should not be adjusted by this. But Ty, who used to work with us here at TLDR and still does some stuff, I believe, he once said this about the NBA, is that he can't watch the NBA anymore because so many players keep getting caught up in these gambling stuff that he's not able to trust the NBA on, is what's happening in an NBA game a real thing? And when you start getting that kind of unsurety, then it's a little bit more questionable, I'd say.
And this is why I watch WWE instead of boxing or UFC, because at least I know that's fake.
You're sure about it ahead of time.
Yeah, just like there's losing trust is like, it makes you realize a lot of these things that we're watching are not sports and have not been sports for a very long time.
Yep.
Like I'm sure there's countless things in the NBA and the MLB and NFL and all that stuff. There's so much stuff in football. I mean, if Elliot were here, he'd bring up the time that Birmingham City were actively match fixed against in the Europa League. We could also bring up, random games in the Champions League that are just so, or even the World Cup. Like if you were to go back and watch Argentina's World Cup win and Messi finally get there, you'll realise some of the decisions that went against them are absolutely insane. Or went for them and went against the other teams are absolutely insane. Like there's this one clip of like in the game against the Netherlands where you can see Virgil van Dijk and his face. He looks like he realises something is happening. And he realises he just has no hope of winning that game. And at that point, the game's like 0-0. So yeah. Losing trust, terrible thing. Terrible thing.
Well, at the end, losing trust does lose viewership, and that is what drives advertising dollars.
Yeah.
So it's a whole circle here.
Yeah. So let's hope the long term is as good as the short term will hopefully be. But Logan, I think we've been a bit too serious, a bit too dark there.
Oh God.
So I want to do something fun to now end the show, unless you've got anything else to say.
No. Please.
Okay. Now you're very out of the Counter-Strike world. You
I'm
said
very
that
out of the
before on this
Counter-Strike
podcast. But you weren't here for our predictions episode this year. So Logan, my boy, I want you to
Let's
predict
go.
something
I'm ready.
that will happen in Counter-Strike this year.
Just predict something.
You can predict anything, any number of things if you want.
You know what's insane is if you had asked me this 2 weeks ago, I would have said something about Counter-Strike being more in the cultural mainstream, and then today Zywoo gets dropped on L'Equipe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is.
So I can't really say that anymore because now it just looks like I'm on Polymarket. I got that inside information. Just a thing that's going to happen this year.
A thing that will happen this year, yeah.
God, there's the first thing that came to my mind is something that I know has already happened, which is like Mongols starting to break apart into their own individual pieces. I mean, maybe it's like, I don't know.
We've kept it.
Fuck it, let's do it,
Logan.
Let's do it. No. Asian team, non-Mongolian, makes playoffs at the second major of the year.
I believe Elliot made that prediction last year. Or he said a major. And we got close. So
well, I don't think it'll happen at this major. I don't think it'll happen at Cologne. Just because, I mean, I'm out of Counter-Strike, but I'm not that out that I wouldn't have heard of some random Asian team. I mean, I'm the guy of random teams and weird team lineups, and I haven't heard of any. But for the second major of the year, that's the sweet spot right now.
Okay. Okay.
That's where I'm going
I'm all for it. And I guess with that then, the only thing left to do is bid our farewells. So, I've been Sam. He's been Logan. The fella earlier that occasionally sounds weird when his Welsh creeps in was Jack. Producer Charlie has been here once again, producing and indeed editing. And James will, at some point this evening, be making a thumbnail, but he has not yet. I'll be back next week. Logan sadly will not, because he hates me and my existence. But Jack will be. And maybe we'll get another guest. It depends if I can be asked to message someone and beg them for an hour of their time. Okay. We'll catch you in the next one.